Welcome to Local Flavor. I'm Deborah Anderson and I'm here at Aunt Faye's Community Kitchen, which is an incubator kitchen that you can rent in Moreland. And today we're going to make lasagna soup, which is one of my favorites. I actually like it better than real lasagna. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by putting about 2 teaspoons of olive oil in my pan. I'm not actually going to measure. Not very much though, because we're going to put some meat in later and it will probably have some grease in it too. And I'm just going to start cooking the onions until they turn a little transparent. This is 1 whole onion, 1 large onion, chopped to little bits. This might take about 4 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the other ingredients that we're going to put in. I'm going to turn it up also. I have about 1.5 pounds of Italian sausage, and I just bought Johnsonville Italian sausage that's in they look like hot dogs, you know, or brats. And so I had to take the casing off and then take it out of the casing. So when I put it in, I'm going to use my mix and chop, and I'm going to make sure it gets broken down even smaller. And after that, we're going to put in some spices, and it will be, once the meat is cooking, we're going to add 4 cloves of garlic and 2 teaspoons of oregano and 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. And to that, we'll add this tiny can of tomato paste, and we're going to cook it with all of that stuff until it turns kind of a dark brown. These things all take time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my Italian sausage, if it will come out. I really like this bamboo paddle when I'm working with a skillet. It's kind of like with my Cuisinart spatula. I love the squared off end. But to get this broken down, I'm going to use the mix and chop. And it's just, you shouldn't use it on frozen things. And this is all defrosted. But it will do a really good job of breaking those big hot dog shaped chunks into little tiny pieces of meat. And I'm going to keep an eye on this. Since it was in the brats and the casings, they're usually not quite as fatty as in a roll sausage. But if it gets too greasy for me, I might sop up some of the grease. We'll decide. We'll see how it looks. This is hard work. Sorry for all the noisiness. I feel like this pan is too far away from me. All right, I always get this stuck in here. Don't worry about it. One thing that's nice about using this kitchen is there is a mercantile right next door. So things that we forgot to bring, we were able to get, and things that we thought didn't look right anymore, we could get a new one. So it's been really nice. You better get busy. Okay, here's my 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. I lost it. Here's my oregano. I'm going to put the bay leaves in when I put in the water. but these can toast into it. And I better get started on my garlic because sometimes that takes me a while. I've heard that if you rub your fingers on a stainless steel bar, you can get the garlic and onion smell off your hands. Or that if you rub anything stainless steel, so I'm gonna try that today. We'll put it to the test. I'm doing 4 cloves of garlic here. And you just cannot beat fresh garlic, of course. You can buy it already in the jar, but why when it's so cool to have it fresh? Okay, while this cooks down a little bit, I want it to be all the way cooked before I add the tomato paste. I'm gonna go ahead and make the cheesy topping that we're gonna put on at the very end, because why not? For the topping, I'm going to use ricotta. I have also made it with cottage cheese. But I'm going to use the whole container of ricotta. This one is 12 ounces. And I'll put this in a better bowl when I'm done. Some recipes, if you see them, sometimes they just have ricotta in them. That's not quite enough for me, but I'm going to put in a cup of mozzarella. I'm checking on my meat. It's still going, and it is not having a lot of grease, so I'm not happy about that. Actually, mozzarella is what it calls for, but this was on sale, and I thought even better. It's an Italian 6-cheese blend. So this has 2 cups. I'm going to put about half the package in it. And it also takes about a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan. So I'll measure that out. I do like to use the fresh Parmesan for the cheesy stuff you put on top. I call it the cheesy yum sometimes. Some recipes call for a lot more cheese. Like one I've seen has only 8 ounces of ricotta and then 2 cups of mozzarella. I like it a little more moist so it sticks together. It's pretty crumbly when it has that. This has some seasonings that I'll add after that gets all stirred up. This is smelling really good. So I think since the meat is still taking a little while, I'm going to take a short break and get that cooked down, remove any grease if I need to, which it's not looking like I'm going to need to right now. When I come back, I'll add the rest of the ingredients to the meat and start it simmering, and the rest of the ingredients to the cheesy yum. We'll see you in just a bit.
Did you know?
It's not just water, it's better water.
Better Water Smith Center completes all your hydration needs. They sell Lundy spring systems, including water softeners, reverse osmosis, water coolers, and bottled water. They won't just install your system, they will service and repair it too. Better Water can repair Echo Water systems and all other major brands. They offer softener salt sales and delivery for your convenience. Serving all of Northwest Kansas.
It's not just water, it's better water.
You're in the right place, the see it before you buy place, the professional staff place, the have it delivered place. Frigid Air Gallery and Genuine Appliance has real stainless steel with fewer fingerprints and smudges. Ranges with true convection speed bake. Quietest in its class dishwashers. Refrigerators with the freezer on the top, the bottom, or side by side. Frigid Air Gallery and Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th and Hayes. The best price place. You're in the right place.
Welcome back to Local Flavor. I've gotten my sausage all cooked down, and we did have to remove some grease. It all came out at the end. So I'm gonna add the tomato paste now. This probably is not gonna be big enough. Or the can would not be big enough for that spatula. I thought I brought every spatula in my kitchen, but apparently not. And this we want to get to a nice round, brown, rusty color. I'm gonna stir it around in there for a little bit. Get it attached to the meat. Thank you, my pinch hitter, for my little measuring spoon. It's pinching, working for me in a pinch here. This will take about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm gonna stir it every now and then, but while it's cooking down, I'm gonna go ahead and work on my cheesy topping. Now everyone's gonna be calling it cheesy yum. It's not really its name, but. I went ahead and moved it into the bowl I wanted it in so you can see a little bit better the consistency. The ricotta is a little bit smoother. I could probably add a little more cheese, and I might do that later. But now I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of garlic salt and a teaspoon of parsley. This will just give it a little bit of flavor and color. We just eat the bowl of lasagna soup. It's kind of like a spaghetti sauce consistency. And then this is the cheese layer that you normally put in your lasagna. And I do think before we start eating this, I'm gonna add a little bit more cheese, just to dry it up a little bit. Okay, how are we doing over here? Let's get all this stuff down. Oh, now I can tell when I get it off the spoon that it is turning a little bit darker and rusty. And one thing I'm gonna put in that isn't in the recipe is some spice mix, some Italian spice mix I got from Tupperware. Someone gave it to me as a gift, and I thought this would be the perfect time to use it, but it's not in the recipe. It looks like it has the same stuff in it that we already put in, like crushed red pepper flakes, and looks like maybe crumbled up basil and some oregano, but I'm sure it's a secret proprietary blend. Okay, now I'm gonna put in the tomatoes. You need an entire can of petite diced tomatoes. Let me get that stirred in pretty well. And it calls for 8 cups of chicken stock. Everyone knows that I use powdered chicken stock. It's easier to carry. So I'm gonna put in 8 cups of water. I'm using my KitchenAid bowl for a measuring bowl today. And this will be the time I want to put in the bay leaves. This gives it a much richer flavor. Bay leaves add a lot of depth, especially good with beef. Let me turn this up a little bit. And I have to turn my stuff into chicken stock. I get my chicken stock powder at a place called Glenn's Bulk Foods. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon for every cup. Now this is a 1/4 cup measuring spoon, so this is gonna be not even. It's a guesstimate anyway. And this will cook into the broth. Once we have this, what number was I on? I can always add more later if I didn't get enough. We'll taste it right before, because at the end you add salt and pepper to taste. And a lot of times I will add a little salt, but I'll also add instead the chicken stock powder because it gives it not only saltiness, but a little bit of flavor. So this needs to cook for about 30 minutes down, and then when we come back, we'll put in the pasta, and that only needs to cook to al dente. And then we'll make our garlic crackers to eat with our soup. So, see you in about 30 minutes.
New technology comes out every week, and it can be hard to keep up with new features and buttons each new phone, computer, and tablet have. You could soon be the tech-savvy person in your family if you watch Nex-Tech University. Available on Nex-Tech Channel 1 and Nex-Tech VOD, Nex-Tech University will give you the tips and tricks to master your latest device and make you the person friends will run to with questions. Watch Nex-Tech University on Nex-Tech Channel 1 and video on demand.
You should never run out of the important stuff.
Really?
If your current wireless plan leaves you at the end of your rope, imagine how you'll feel with Nex-Tech Wireless with unlimited everything. Nex-Tech Wireless gives you the freedom to go as far as you want. Nex-Tech Wireless, something different.
Welcome back to Local Flavor. We got this to boiling, and then we simmered it for about 30 minutes. And I'm going to turn the heat up back a little bit so that it can boil the pasta. I'm going to only let it cook for about 7 minutes to al dente. Oh, let me tell you about this pasta. It's very hard to find. It's called Mafalda pasta, and it's teeny. I don't know if you can see them on screen, but they look like teeny tiny little mini lasagna noodles. So these are exactly what I wanted, and it's very hard to find them, and so I found them at the grocery store in Waukegan. I was about to order them off Amazon, and it was going to cost like $12 a box after shipping and everything. So happy to find it in Waukegan. I hope they keep stocking it. I kind of cleared them out because I've been looking for this for so long. If you don't have it though, you know, pasta is pasta, and you can, I have cut up lasagna noodles, just broken them. It takes about 30 minutes to break your entire package of lasagna noodles. This is a 12-ounce box, by the way. And I've used Campanile pasta. That's a pretty nice one. It's kind of, it looks like a iris, or not an iris, a lily. It's kind of shaped like a lily, and it holds the flavor really well. So in a pinch, any pasta will do, but there's just something special about a mini lasagna noodle. So I was so happy to find those. While this cooks, it's only going to take about 7 minutes, I'm going to prepare our crackers. And I'm going to spread butter on, I have taken just like a French bread or a bag. You can use anything like a baguette. We have in a pinch used sandwich bread. It tastes the same, but it's a little bit cuter if you use the smaller bread you use. It'll look more like a cracker. This is a little bit large, but not easy to find a fresh baguette around here. They do have those ones you can cook on your own. Also, I have been making my own bread at home. I have this book called How to Make Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day, and it's delightful. So maybe sometime we'll make our own baguette. But for now, this is just French bread, and I've cut it as thin as I could so that it will get nice and crispy like a cracker. You are boiling too much. So I'm just spreading, this is just plain butter that I softened and stirred with a fork, so it'd be easy to spread. And I'm using my little butter tool that I love so much. The brush end is what I'm using to put it on. This end can cut, this end can measure by tablespoons. This is just a couple tablespoons of butter. Oh, maybe it was 3. Well, whatever. It doesn't have to be measured. So after I get these made up, I'm going to put them in the broiler and put them on high, and I'm going to watch them. I can't tell you how many minutes it takes. It depends on how much you preheat it, but I'll watch them, and when they get golden brown on top, that's when I'll take them out. Right now I am putting on some garlic salt, and I'm just sprinkling it over the top, and I will wipe the counter. I'm not worrying too much about mess right now. And then for this, I know I have some fresh Parmesan, but I really prefer the powder for this because I want it to be a nice crispy cracker, and the fresh Parmesan might make it taste more like a breadstick from the pizza shop. The cheesy breadsticks, which we all love, but in this case, I want them to be more cracker-like. I am gonna take a quick break and put these in the broiler, and I'll bring them out when they look just right and give you a peek at them.
Great news, Nex-Tech customers. Now you can play Sunday Funday Bingo every week for your chance to win cash prizes and free service. Play along with your bingo cards included in your Nex-Tech bill, or go to nextech.com/bingo to print out your own cards. Tune in to Nex-Tech Local 1 Sunday nights at 6 p.m.
Bingo is brought to you by Genuine Appliance American Mattress, Angels Care Home Health, AquaShield Roofing and Construction, Rogers & Associates Insurance, Cedarview Assisted Living, Nex-Tech Wireless, All Faiths Funeral Chapel, and Better Water. Restaurants, gyms, salons, libraries, and more. Nex-Tech has over 100 free Wi-Fi hotspots to keep you connected.
Welcome back to Local Flavor. We've got our bread, our garlic bread all done, and as you can see, it got a little brown. I remember this method of making this, I learned from my friend Kirsten, and I remember her making it at my house on 2nd Street in Lindsborg. And I remember she put on quite a bit of Parmesan cheese, and it gave it almost a nutty flavor. But I loved how the bread stayed moist inside, but was crisp on the top where it was broiled. So I'm gonna take one little taste and see if what kind of spices we need to add. Oh, I better put in the basil first. It takes two teaspoons of basil. Tablespoons makes it a bit too crazy. If you have fresh basil, you can put in up to a half a cup. So I'm gonna stir that in, and then I'm gonna give it a little taste to see how much salt and pepper I need to add. We had a little trouble with the oven, so this got a little past al dente, but it'll give me a chance to talk about how to handle the leftovers. Actually pretty good. I'm gonna put a little pepper. Especially if you have the fresh basil, it's important to put it at the end. So I'm gonna make myself a little dollop. If there are leftovers, know that this noodle will continue to absorb the fluid. So I would not add fluid when you put it away in the fridge, but when you warm it up, you want to add a little bit more either water or chicken stock to warm it up. And when you warm it up again, you want to make it really hot because your cheesy yum on the top will go ahead and cool it quite a bit. So I'm going to put a big dollop of my cheesy yum. And you can leave it on the top, or I usually just stir it right in and make it look like a big mess. But that's the cheese layer from your lasagna. And then to garnish it, I'm gonna put on one of our garlic toast crackers. And it's nice and thin, so it's nice and crispy. I love this stuff. I think I love it better than lasagna. And I think the reason is the chicken stock. There's something my friend Janet and I have been talking about lately, how adding just a little bit of chicken broth or a can of cream of chicken soup to your beef meals really seems to add something. And I do think it brings out a wonderful flavor. Tastes a lot like lasagna, only better. And definitely the best part is the garlic toast. So give it a try. If you can find Mafalda pasta, buy all they got because it is very hard to find. But it looks so cute. Oh, I should also tell you that the bay leaves inside, you don't eat those. You go ahead and take them out when you're done. cooking it. Sometimes I leave it in the leftovers just to keep on seasoning it, but I'm gonna get another bite. Very good. I could put a little bit of garlic salt in maybe, or a little bit of sea salt. That might make it better. Oh, I better use a spoon or we might have an accident. I'm gonna put just a little bit of flakes in my own. Those are the Mafalda sea salt flakes. I did end up putting a little bit more mozzarella cheese in the cheesy yum. And I bet I could put a little bit more in even and get a little more stretch in the cheese. Love those salty crackers. Give this a try, super easy. It doesn't take that long to cook, only about, I'd say, 45 minutes. So, thank you for joining us on Local Flavor, and we'll see you next time.